Hello, and welcome back to the Sober Scoop. This is India Gantz, your host, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. In fact, Memorial Day weekend is what is inspiring today's episode. We're going to be talking about vacationing as a sober person and also distinguishing the weekend from the work week. A lot of people use alcohol as that distinction from like, you just worked all week and then it's like alcohol on the weekends, that makes it different. Also on vacation, there is a lot of temptation because there's drink packages, unlimited food and beverage, whatever. The people in your group are drinking. There's a lot of temptations, and it's also, again, separating vacation from regular life. But, newsflash, you don't need alcohol to do that. You can still make vacation special and make it feel different than your regular life. Same goes for weekends. You can make weekends special and different from your regular work week. There are tactics, and we're going to be talking about those today. I'm hoping that this episode will totally put you at ease and make you even more excited for your trip. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode, and I'm going to crack into my Diet Dr. Pepper. Cheers! Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. So I just got back from a little trip this weekend. I was at Semiahmoo Resort, which is a resort, golf, and spa located about 2 hours north of Seattle. It was so fun. We played golf. We enjoyed the beautiful hotel. There was a barbecue. It was just such a fun trip. But it definitely got me thinking about how in the beginning of my sobriety, going on vacations was difficult, or I don't know, I guess it was just an adjustment from how I would usually do vacations. Because when I was vacationing as somebody who heavily drank, alcohol was the number one priority. Every activity, every meal, everything. Everything was surrounded around alcohol. It was, will there be alcohol there? When can we drink next? How early can we start drinking? It was just like the whole vacation was about alcohol. And looking back, that was so exhausting. Like all my plans on vacation, take this weekend, for example. I was at this beautiful resort, okay? And the old me would have not experienced so many different things that hotel had to offer. The pool, the hot tub, the barbecue, the little farmer's market, the cafe. Like I wouldn't have done any of that, I don't think, because, if I did do some of those things, it would just be a different experience because the number one priority was booze. Always. So let's look at the hot tub, for example. I wouldn't be interested in going in the hot tub if I couldn't bring a drink into the hot tub. I go down to the lobby kiosk and I can't get the wine or the beer or whatever because it's closed already. I would not have gone to the hot tub. I would have forewent, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I would have not done the hot tub because I couldn't get alcohol to bring in there. And that just shows that alcohol was running my life. And it determined what I did and did not do. Also, there were little bikes to rent at this hotel. And I just wouldn't have done that. Because I would rather be in the bar drinking. I couldn't going on a bike ride instead of drinking alcohol, it didn't even make sense in my mind. I would never have done something like that. Another example, there was a summer barbecue on Saturday at this hotel. And it was so fun. They were cooking for everybody and there was live music and there was a little bar set up. And I just would not have been focused on the music or the gorgeous scenery or the people around or the amazing barbecue food that they were making. My focus would have been solely on that bar. And it would be about, first of all, how many drinks are included. And then how tipsy can I get off of the drinks that are included? Maybe I should pregame before I go down there. And then it's, what if the people working at that bar see me come up a third time, a fourth time, and start to be like, wow, this girl's drinking a lot, so I need to be able to go back to my room to get more. Maybe I should bring some alcohol down there to enjoy at the barbecue myself in between drinks that I get from the bar. Like, there would have been just so much planning and coordinating around alcohol that I wouldn't have even enjoyed the reason that I was at the barbecue in the first place. That event is not about booze. Yes, they happen to have a little wine and beer bar set up, but that's not what it's about. It's about the barbecue. Like I said, the live music. It's about that experience. And I would have been so driven by alcohol. And not to mention, the other people that I was on this vacation with left early. So I was there by myself. Oh my God, the drinking me would have had such a different experience at that barbecue. It would have been just so alcohol heavy. And speaking of the food at the barbecue, something in sobriety, and also just me getting more into fitness and stuff, is that I actually have an appetite and I get really hungry. And when you're hungry, you feel better about eating. You're a little bit more excited to eat. And when I was a drinker, like, I hardly ever got hungry because I was always full on Coors Lights. Those are pretty filling, especially if you're having 10, 12, 15. Like, you're pretty full at all times. So I wouldn't be looking forward to a full plate of barbecue at this event. But in sobriety and with the fitness that I'm doing, I get really hungry. And so I went down to that barbecue and I was ravenous. I was so excited. I got one of the ribs that they were having, or I got a couple of ribs, a rack of ribs, I don't know, a small amount of ribs. I got I'm so bad with types of meat. I just like meat, okay? But I got kind of like a slice of steak, I guess, like a good chunk of steak. I got the salad. I got the bread with like this cheese lavender stuff on top. It was incredible. I got the asparagus. I got the dessert, the little souffle thing. I got everything. And I also got a Diet Coke. But the food was amazing and I actually got to enjoy it and I was hungry. And my mindset around food has changed as well. Like, I see that food as being nutritious and fueling my body, whereas when I was a drinker, food was like to go with my alcohol. I got a lot of Chick-fil-A, a lot of Taco Bell, a lot of McDonald's, a lot of Domino's, because that goes well with a beer. And greasy food cures a hangover, and I was hungover most days. So, yeah, that's kind of sad looking back, but a lot of things that I did were kind of sad, but we're better now. Anyway, so that whole barbecue experience would have been different. Long story short, that's just one example from this weekend, but every vacation that I've been on would have been experienced so differently. I went on a cruise at the end of 2024, and cruises were my favorite place to drink because I would, of course, get the unlimited drinks package. Maybe 15 is the max per day that you can order on the ship. So you have to get to that 15 to like make it worth it in your mind, right? Oh my God, we do so many like calculations of worth in our minds around alcohol when we're drinkers. Oh my gosh, even just the other day, I was golfing and I was having a Heineken 00. And I was kind of over it. It's gotten warm. The carbonation was lost because it was sitting there for a while. And I was like, I don't really want the rest of this. And I dumped it out. And I kind of had an aha moment where I was just like, oh my God. The old me would, like, if that was an alcoholic beverage, I would have never dumped it out. I never, ever wasted alcohol. Every last sip of every drink was always finished. Especially when I went out to restaurants and stuff and I'm paying a premium for alcohol. Every last drop was finished and I wouldn't let anybody else leave the table either until their drink was finished. And if they didn't want it, I'd finish it for them. I put alcohol on a pedestal. So back to the cruise story, like, I knew that we were allowed to get max 15 drinks a day on the drink package. And so to make it worth it in my mind, I wanted to max out every day. So I would have at least 15 drinks a day. And that's just on the ship that you're allowed to order. You also get out many days of the cruise and go on land. And so you can buy whatever drinks you want there. But it's 15 drinks a day on the drink package on the boat. And I'd make sure to get to that 15 drinks a day. And it's kind of like the airport. I always talk about the airport and how there's no judgment. You could be drinking in the morning. You can be drinking by yourself. with the excuse of time zones or I'm nervous for my flight or whatever. It's like all bets are off at the airport. And it's kind of the same way on a cruise ship. All bets are off. I mean, everyone is drinking on these cruise ships, and they're drinking a lot. And it is no judgment. Nobody else on that boat knows how many you've had, or in fact, they don't care. They encourage it. It's like a cruise. If you've been on a cruise, you know what it's like. All bets are off. It is do whatever you want. Like literally order a daiquiri or a pina colada or a beer or whatever from the bar the moment you wake up. I mean, even the bartenders and stuff that are working on the ship, if you get a coffee somewhere, they're like, you want to put a shot of whiskey in there? Like, it is just so welcomed and encouraged on a cruise ship because it is vacation mode. Nobody's having to drive home. You're trapped on this boat. Like, it is just so embraced and so welcomed, the drinking culture on cruise ships. And so I went on a cruise early on. Or somewhat early on, I guess. I went in December 2024 and I got sober June 2024. So I had been sober 6 months. I feel like that's a pretty good amount of time to be comfortable going on a cruise sober. I did just fine because I was definitely an isolated drinker, and on a cruise ship, there's so much to do at all times that I didn't really feel that much temptation at all, actually. But I know that I'm unique in that, and most people would probably be very triggered on a cruise ship because it's just, like I said, so alcohol-centric. So with all of that said, my stories from this weekend, my stories from this cruise, I want to provide you with some tips to surviving and thriving as a sober person on vacation. Because in my opinion, it will be so much better. It might not feel like it in your early sobriety, but stick with it because later, vacations and really everything in life are better sober, in my humble opinion, as somebody who has experienced both. Like seeing life through sober eyes is so beautiful. Taking it all in. I had a moment this weekend where I was sitting in my room, which was facing the lawn and the water. It was after the barbecue. I went up and I'm just looking down, seeing all these people dancing, having fun, eating the barbecue, playing cornhole, throwing rocks in the water. And I was like, oh my God, like this is life. This is so beautiful. There was not a cell phone in sight. Everyone was just being so present. And I was like, this is beautiful. And to think that I used to dumb that down with alcohol or like dull the beauty of that situation with alcohol makes me sad. Because you don't need alcohol to enhance a situation that is already incredible. And when you quit alcohol, you are deficient in dopamine, and so you might be a little bit more depressed and not enjoying vacation and happy situations. And that's okay. You're adjusting. But eventually, when everything evens out, life is so beautiful and you actually realize that. You're just like, wow, this is incredible. Like, I just feel so grateful and happy. And it's just beautiful. And so I don't need alcohol to enhance or dull that sparkle. Like, that situation is sparkly as is. And not to mention, you also wake up without hangovers when everybody else is struggling. You wake up earlier. There are so many amazing things about experiencing vacation sober. But I do want to give some tips in case you're planning a trip and you're nervous about it. So my number one tip is to still indulge. So the old you, the drinking you, may have started the day with a mimosa and like drank all throughout the day because it's vacation. Heck, why not? And ordered a glass of wine at dinner and then an espresso martini for dessert. And it's like, those are all indulgences, out of the ordinary experiences, just special things for vacation, right? And so when you're a sober person, you still want to indulge and experience those different than usual items. Like, for example, if everyone else is getting espresso martinis after dinner, you can get the ice cream trio off the dessert menu and like try each flavor and let people try some. And it's like, it's fun. You can get a dessert. You can get a fun mocktail that costs frickin' $14 because you're not having 3 glasses of wine. You save so much money in sobriety, so go ahead and treat yourself. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would say you save a lot of money in sobriety, and so feel free to get the $14 mocktail. Doing these little things like ordering the fun dessert or ordering the mocktail or ordering something just out of the ordinary for you makes vacation feel separate from regular life. Because you might not go out to dinner just with your family one night and get something off the dessert menu, although why not? You should. But on vacation, you kind of feel like you want to do something extra special to make it feel different than regular life. So get the dessert. Like, have fun. Try the mocktail. Try a fun blended coffee drink to start the day instead of your usual vanilla latte. Like, get an iced blended something with caramel sauce. Like, just have fun with it. That's what I believe. That is the way to make vacations still feel special. And as far as making it special with things that you don't consume, you could also get a souvenir. I usually think that souvenirs are such a waste of money. Like, I just don't buy them when I'm on trips. But you're saving so much money by not drinking alcohol. Why not get the cute little hat or the sweatshirt from your resort? Like, have that memory. If you like it, it's cute, and you want it, get it. Because you deserve to feel special and do something exciting for yourself. I went down to the hotel gift shop during this last trip, and I got the white chocolate covered cherries that were from like this little local place. And they were $8 for probably freaking 11 cherries. Very expensive, but they were so good. And I just thought, what a fun little treat. I'm going to go up to my room and like just relax and watch a show. Why not munch on some chocolate covered cherries? But like I was saying, it also doesn't have to be edible. There were the cutest yellow sweatshirts that said the resort name on it. And they're yellow, like a lemon. So cute. And I loved it. I was ready to buy one. Unfortunately, they only had sizes XXL. Everything else was sold out. So obviously they're very popular sweatshirts. But I was about to buy one. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, why not get yourself the sweatshirt, the little hat, the chocolate covered cherries? Maybe there's a necklace. Whatever. Get yourself something nice to remember the trip and enjoy. Treat yourself. My number one tip is to treat yourself. And kind of piggybacking off of that into more non-edible ways to make vacation feel special. Like, do all of the things that your resort or the town you're visiting has to offer. Take full advantage. Like I said with this resort from this weekend, they had bikes that you could rent. They had the spa. They had the gym. They had a hot tub, a pool, pickleball courts, the summer barbecue. They had a restaurant. They had so many fun things. And, they had like a little event in the evening. They had a farmer's market that comes in on Sundays. There were so many fun things at this resort. So another tip I have is to just literally do everything. Don't overwhelm yourself feeling like you have to take advantage of every little thing or else the vacation was pointless. But do the things that you want to do, because at least myself as a drinker, like I mentioned earlier, alcohol ran my vacation and I would only do things where I could drink. And so now that you're not literally bound by the handcuffs of alcohol, you can do all those fun things. Do all those fun things. Like, just take full advantage of the place that you're at and just celebrate that you don't have to be planning your entire trip around alcohol. You can do all the cute little fun things that don't involve booze. Oh my gosh, go paddleboarding, go for a walk, do the pickleball, try cafes or like the little ice cream parlor. All these things that you wouldn't have done. I know I wouldn't have done those. Like, why would I go to a cafe on vacation when I could go sit at the bar and have a Bloody Mary or, a morning drink? Why would I go to the ice cream parlor when I could be sitting in a bar? None of that made sense to me when I was a drinker. And now that I'm sober, I can do all those fun things. And it's awesome. Enjoy yourself. Embrace life. There's so much more to life than alcohol. So enjoy it. So another tip that I have is to kind of feel free to get a big ego about your sobriety. You don't have to outwardly brag to everybody else and be that person like, I feel great in the morning, you guys are in bed and I'm out doing things. Don't rub it in people's faces, but internally, go ahead and have a big ego about the fact that you are not getting too intoxicated. You are not having to take a nap in the middle of the day because you were day drinking. You're not having to go to bed at 9 p.m. because you're like passing out during the live band or whatever. You are not going to wake up hungover. Feel free to have a big ego internally and embrace the fact that you are not bound by the handcuffs of alcohol. You are not hungover your entire vacation, and you will remember everything, every detail in your mind. Those three things are so special. And you also don't have to go to bed early, like I said, or take naps or this and that. Like, there's so many downsides to alcohol on vacation. If you think about it, oh my God, the number of times that I got way too wasted on vacation and had to just go to sleep. And then I wake up at 4 a.m. in the middle of the night and I've already napped for 9 hours. And I'm like, what? Where is everybody? I'm on a different time clock. Like, I have to skip dinner because I'm passed out. There are so many negative effects of alcohol on vacation if you really think about it. And then you're too hungover the next morning and you don't get your day started till noon. Like, hello, you're at the most gorgeous resort, or maybe you're like in Mexico or you're on that cruise ship or whatever. You're going to start your day at noon when you're paying to be there on vacation. Go enjoy yourself. But you can't when you're so hungover. And once you're, feeling well enough to go get up and move, the only thing you want to do is get more alcohol in your system. So you go to the bar, you get your Bloody Mary, you get your mimosa, and that's your morning of vacation. All of a sudden it's 2 p.m. You're going to have your first meal. You didn't have breakfast because you were feeling ill. You have a mediocre lunch late in the day, so you're not hungry for dinner. You skip that too. You just drink instead. You get too drunk again. You take shots, and it's like a vicious cycle. You go to sleep early again. You wake up hungover again. That is not a way to live on vacation. In fact, that's so lame, looking back. And a lot of times that's all people want to do on vacation is get drunk. There are so many more fun things to do, so go experience those things in sobriety. I don't want to sound cheesy, but like, life is so freaking good in sobriety. And you get to actually see it and experience it firsthand. It's beautiful. It kind of does an injustice to this beautiful world and this beautiful life to drink everything away. And sometimes, like I said earlier, when I'm looking at this beautiful scene and I think about the fact that I would be seeing it through blurry eyes and, not feeling well and having to go to the bathroom all the time and having to leave early because I'm too drunk or whatever, like, that's so sad. Whereas in sobriety, you just sit there and watch and enjoy and you're just present. I truly feel like this is how life is supposed to be lived. In fact, it's not a feeling, it's fact. We weren't put on this earth with intent to drink our lives away. We were put on this earth to enjoy this beautiful life and survive, of course. Alcohol is not a great way to survive, by the way, with all the health issues attached to it and the proactive aging and everything like that, rapid aging. Anyway, that's another story. But in general, I was just saying, we were put on this earth to survive and thrive and not to dull this beautiful life with alcohol. So enjoy yourself on vacation. I guarantee if you stay sober on your trip, you will be so grateful that you did. First of all, you'll be so proud of yourself, but also you will have enjoyed the vacation more than you would have drinking. You're going to remember it all. You're going to pack so much more into your trip. There are endless amounts of good things I could say about a sober vacation. So enjoy yourself. It's incredible. And I'm so proud of you for staying sober on your trip. If nobody else tells you, if you're around all other people who drink, just know that little old me over here is very proud of you for staying sober. I think just that reminded me of one last thing I want to say. If you are with a bunch of people who drink, I would definitely advise that you have your non-alcoholic drinks ready to go. So if that's like a trip where you're road tripping and you're all staying in an Airbnb, like, make sure to stop at the grocery store and get stuff that you like, because a lot of times people don't consider the sober person when making purchases. They kind of are just like, oh, well, India can just have water, right? They don't probably actually think that or say that, but they just assume that the only drinks you get to have at the house are beers, wines, hard alcohol. Why would you need anything else? That's actually how the planning goes for most trips. That's how I used to plan trips as a drinker. Like, why would we need soda or sparkling waters. Like, what? All about the booze, baby. Well, in sobriety, you got to look out for yourself. So stop at the store and get yourself the diet sodas, get yourself the sparkling waters, maybe get some NA beers. And then also just have ready in your back pocket a few non-alcoholic drinks that you like to order out. So when everybody else is getting a round of shots or getting espresso martinis at the end of the meal or getting a glass of wine with their steak, like, have your drinks ready to go. For example, the mocktails, the non-alcoholic beers. Maybe you just order a dessert instead of the espresso martini. Like, know which soda you love to have. Have a few things at the ready, and it will save you and also just make it like really fun and enjoyable. So on that note, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you for the next episode. Bye.